Good afternoon, Facebook, and welcome to another segment of Live in the Classroom. Here today, we're at Hall Elementary School inside the STEM lab here. I'm with Andrea Weiland. She's a science teacher here at Hall Elementary. We're so excited to be in the brand new, renovated STEM lab here.
Thank
you. Tell us, what are you guys working on today?
Okay, so our students are in the STEM lab. They have been studying about rapid changes to the Earth, and so what we are working on is trying to find a way to build an earthquake-resistant home. And so they understand that earthquakes can change what's on top of the land, the land. So they are trying to figure out ways that engineers build houses in order to sustain the earthquake.
Okay, and so they just watched a little video a little bit ago to see kind of how earthquakes affect those homes and the damage that can be done. So what's the point of today's lesson?
They are going to understand some different strategies that they could use to engineer the house itself in order for it to not fall down.
Okay, and so this is part 2 of a project you guys have already started. Can you tell me what part 1 was and what part 2 is?
Yes, so part 1, we had learned a lot about just earthquakes in general, trying to figure out what an earthquake would do to the land and to structures on the land. And so today they're actually going to be designing and constructing their own ideas for how to create something that could withstand the hurricane. I mean, not the hurricane, the earthquake.
Yeah. We're used to hurricanes here.
Yes.
Okay, well, part of Live in the Classroom is we are going to let you take over and see what you guys are learning, and then we're going to see an activity. So we'll let you have the reins.
Thank you. Okay, guys. So we talked about the tapered geometry structure. The next one that engineers use and work on when there is an earthquake that happens nearby because of the fault lines is cross bracing. So it gives this flexibility if there were a rapid change underneath the ground, then it could give more stability to that area, okay? And then the last one, if you can see up there, is shock absorbers. And so we have these bases that you can see in the pillars right here, but there's almost like a part where maybe it's made out of rubber or something flexible, and if you can imagine, if you were to just jump on the floor, it's kind of a drastic, sharp, hit, right? But if I were to jump on a trampoline, it gives a little, right? And so that's kind of what a shock absorber does as well. It gives.
All right, so except for these two, I'm going to ask you two to move over here to this table. Go ahead and grab a chair. You have 10 seconds. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I took all the materials for our lab, and I put them on a tray. And Ms. Wiley just used these fancy terms to talk about engineering. I want you to look at the materials, investigate them with your AV partner, and I want you to find the materials that are going to help your structure be strong first. So
Which ones could you use to make it strong?
Go ahead and go in your tray.
Which ones do you think it could be? What could make it strong? Okay. How could it make it strong? What do you think?
It can make it stay stiff. It's like if it is onto a hard surface, it stays there.
Okay.
And it's not really easy for it to come off.
Okay. Good. All right. Is there anything else that could make it strong?
Yes. This really kind of the foil you can wrap it up, and then foil is kind of like metal.
Okay.
So if you wrap it up, it will be kind of hard.
Okay.
So it will stay. But this is still like this.
Right. So it has that.
It will sway, but the house will barely move.
Okay. So you think the sway may help it?
You only got one toilet paper roll, right? No.
We're just looking at the materials. Yes. We haven't bought anything yet. Good.
You said we'd stand on that.
All right. So what have you thought about? What is going to make it strong?
Raise your hand and tell me something that you found in your tray that might help you construct something strong. What do you think, Ed?
The foil. kind of metal, so it's kind of hard. So it will make it kind of stronger.
That's an interesting way. Anybody think something different? Roman, what do you think?
I think maybe I should maybe use some of these to make the stilts. These stilts because they are pretty strong.
They are pretty strong. Okay, so I know more of you have something to share, except for I want to change our brains. When we look at this design, this cross design, that's about that flexibility. Right now, look at your tray and tell me what could you use, what material would support flexibility? Talk it out on the table. Go, go.
What do you think could make it flexible, Gael? The tray, okay. What makes the tray flexible? Nothing. Okay.
Probably marshmallows.
Okay.
If you get them to stick down,
Okay. How might you get them to stick?
if I put it, like if you put the marshmallow in your mouth, it like gets sticky.
Oh, so you're thinking like that it's actually like a glue almost. Okay. Okay. Very good. Okay, what are you guys thinking about that you could do?
Stuff we're gonna buy
You will. Hold on.
And we can use this rubber band to like put it on and make an X, and then it can like bend.
Oh, I like the way you're making
It
the
can
X.
bend, but it can stay together at the same time.
Good idea.
And then we move on to the last one. Shock absorbers. Like she said, that if you were going to jump, you would want us to grab like the impact of that. So if I jump, even with the boot on, probably not a good idea. I want to feel something that would give me a soft landing. Do you remember in the video where they had something underneath
Mm-hmm.
and it kind of moved for them?
Yeah.
I'm wondering if there's anything on our tray that could be a shock absorber. Talk
What
about it.
could be a shock absorber, guys?
We can do this and then.
What do you think? Why do you think, Freddie, that would be a good way to make a shock absorber?
Lizzie said marshmallows.
Okay, hold on. Okay, good. It kind of gives a little bit like that. Okay, awesome. Lizzie, why do you say marshmallow would be a good shock absorber?
Because it can stick together.
Okay, they could maybe stick together.
Yeah.
Does it have a little give in it?
Yeah, because it's squishy. It's sticky.
Good.
It's squishy.
It's squishy. Awesome. Okay.
Same with
Good.
that.
So think about ways that you could incorporate this into your plan in a little bit. Okay. French fries. French fries.
Awesome. I think we're ready.
Okay, I think we are.
Changed our thinking a little bit. Oh, wait. Thank you. I think we've changed our thinking a little bit. We thought about strong. We thought about flexible. And then we thought about something that would absorb that impact if the earth was to move underneath us. So now.
All right. Now we're going to get to go back into our science journals. Okay. Now that you have new learning about the way structures in an earthquake can be built, I want you to go back to your plan. Okay? You and your partner are going to create one sketch. Okay? One sketch that you're going to label. Scientific labeling, remember. That sketch is going to be the idea that you create when you build your prototype. Okay? So, go ahead. Let's see. Yes, you may. Okay, I want you also, while you're doing this, to make your complete list of your materials that you want to use to go shopping. Remember, you have an $8 budget. Okay, don't go over $8. You are also later, the next day, tomorrow probably, you're going to be able to redesign. So make sure if you think you might need something later, you don't use all your budget right now. Okay? All right. We have.
Ms. Weiler, before we go, they asked about the criteria again.
Oh,
Can you
sure.
show them the criteria?
I absolutely can.
Criteria are the rules. So open up notebooks. If you don't have your notebook, raise your hand. Let me make sure you have it.
What's the criteria?
This is your constraints, guys.
See the rules?
So the house has to be 10 centimeters off the ground. Okay? It can be on the stilts. Remember, we looked at 10 centimeters. All right? Here's 10 centimeters. It has to have 4 to 6 stilts. It has to remain standing on the shake table for 10 seconds. All right? And that double thing, right? 2 stories tall. Yes, 2 stories or more. It can be 2 levels or more.
So show me.
So you have your stilts, right? And then you have 2 stories.
So it has to be this tall.
Well, it's up to you how you desire it.
Let's go,
It just
AV
has to have
partners. Let's
2
get
floors.
planning. I want to hear.
Go
Open
ahead and get
notebooks.
started.
Let's go. Let's go.
Oh, you have 2.
Open notebooks.
Mine was already.
Hold on.
So I want you to think about what we
Okay,
just
so
learned
y'all can create one
about it
together
being
now.
strong, about it being flexible, and about maybe
Oh yeah,
a shock
you know
absorber.
what? When you had
and look
left,
at your
that's
design.
what it was. Okay, so you kind of have
Is
an
there
idea
anything that you
now
might wanna
of
change?
what we're doing. Cash, will you share
there any
your idea with
improvements
him
that
so
we
he
need
kind
to
of has
make?
an idea of where to
What do you
start?
guys think on?
Can't you just copy because I think that so for now I think we should just go with
Okay, but you might want to change something about
You
yours
don't think
too.
so?
Now
okay,
that
can you
know
show me where
about
in your design
these
that you
different
planned
techniques,
for it
right?
to be strong?
These are for
I just went for like
So what's hard for me
okay,
is
but
I don't
the
see any
beach house
labels
is
on your
different
design
for
right
that
now,
environment.
so I don't know what you're using.
Okay.
So we have to
Okay.
start with labels, right?
Think about ways you could change it to make it better.
So when you say that this is what you're going to use for strength, the cardboard, I need to see it on
Okay,
your
did
design.
you guys
I'm going to
up
come
with
back
a
and check in
different
on you guys,
idea
okay?
Based on what you just learned?
Make sure you make a shopping list. I'll be back.
Okay.
All right. Based on what you guys just heard, are you
Okay.
changing anything in your
And remember, we have some engineering techniques that we could use with that cardboard to make it stronger, right? Okay.
But mostly his like his is smaller. But if there's a taller one, it will just go.
Okay, so we know that we have to follow this piece. We
Okay,
have to
so
build
what are
2
you guys
stories. So we have to have one
changing
story
about
and then
your
a second
design?
story.
Did you change anything based on what you learned?
Because my idea
Yes.
My idea was big.
Okay.
My idea was really big. Wait, is this something?
Okay, so we have
So,
the
what are you
tubes. You're
doing
going
to
give it
plan for it
strength
to be
with the
strong?
tubes.
Don't
Okay.
fill out your budget
So
sheet
then,
yet, Kyler, because I want to
what are
make
you
sure
going
this
to
is
do
labeled and
to
it makes
prevent
sense to
it
me.
from falling?
So where are you planning
Going
for it to be
beyond
strong?
the tubes.
What are you using that's going to help it be strong?
Okay,
The
but
cardboard
how would
tubes.
you build it beyond the tape?
Okay, but
right?
hold on. What are you using to
only
make it
get
be
so much
flexible?
tape, right? We're
So when I
buying
put
tape
it on our
this time.
shake table
We
and
can't
I
just
move
use
it,
all the
how
tape
is
we
your
want.
building going to be flexible?
And it really, structurally, how could you make it stronger? Do you want
That's
the
what we were just
flexibility?
talking
Do
about.
you
It
want
can't
the
just be a
strength?
strong building. It
you
has
want
to be
the
a
strength?
flexible
Okay.
building.
What about
What
oh,
happens
it's not
when
up there,
I
but
go under your
remember
building
how they
and I
used
start
the
to
cross
shake
to give it
under
the
your building?
flexibility, and they
How
made
are
it
you
go
going
up
to
to a
make it
point
be
for
able
the
to
strength?
handle what happens
So
on the
could you do
tell me.
something like that?
What are these? Because I just saw it. I just saw it like move.
Okay.
Okay.
The house won't just. What is happening?
Okay. Are you working on yours?
Putting force on it, but this
Here.
something's moving.
So what are you? So I
So
think
you
you're on
think
the
if we
AV
use
plan,
the tray
okay?
underneath,
So
maybe you could
have
do
you
what we
heard
watched in the video with like the
what
slider.
you're going-
Would you
what
put the
he's
tray this
working
way,
on?
this way?
I know Gigi.
Would you attach it? Which way?
So what do
And
you
what are you
think?
gonna put on
What did
top of
Gigi
it?
do yesterday that you could implement today? Did she have a good
I don't want you
idea
to. I
about
want you to put it on the
something?
here. I want you to listen to your partner because your partner's got some great thinking. He's thinking if we use a tray, we could use that as a slider and it'll
Yes,
create
you
the
can.
flexibility
Right here. Foam
piece
tray.
that you want.
Foam plate or
So I
tray.
like that you have strength. I like that you have flexibility, but I need to see it in your sketch. I need to see it in your sketch. I'm going to the next group.
Okay. So let's when you draw this again. Oh, sorry. Thank you.
So fancy.
All right, so now we're outside the STEM engineering lab. I'm here with Blythe Brown. She's the STEM liaison here at Hall Elementary. So this is exciting because this is new, brand new. I mean, what are you most excited about being able to use this new STEM lab?
Having a STEM lab gives us a space where our kids can, first of all, know that they're going to go through the engineering design process and they come in for 5 days. Where you are seeing day 2, this is really a process, and it's a home for their creativity, and they come in with a different mindset into this space. So for us, it's a huge accomplishment to have our own STEM lab. It also allows them to leave their prototypes in a location, so they come in with that, I'm an engineer in this space, and that's my favorite part.
Yeah, and but what's so much different than a regular science lab as opposed to, or this as opposed to a regular science lab?
I wish I could grab one of them, because that's that's the part they'll tell you about. Is in the science lab, I think they're used to, it's still content based, it's still somebody's kind of prescribed the journey and where they're headed. I'm going to do this experiment for this purpose. When we come to engineering, this is about their thinking. We like to give a little bit of information, but what they're able to create and design on their own, it's theirs. It's innovative. It's they're problem solving real world problems like earthquake resistant homes, or we did lunar growth chambers last week. So when we go onto the moon, how are we going to create produce? So they're solving problems that their generation will actually face in a way that they can that's appropriate at elementary level.
Well, it's exciting, and thanks so much for letting us come inside and see the STEM lab in action. This is just one part of the newly renovated Hall Elementary, so we're so excited to be able to see an inside look. But that'll be it for today's Live in the Classroom. Thanks so much for watching.